So hello students, yesterday we have discussed about NDMA, okay, that is National Disaster Management Authority, and NIDM, okay. So NIDM is the think tank behind whatever policies and plan which are implemented by NDMA. So today we will see about other institutes which are working for disaster management in India, and actually that are responsible for making the manpower available to NDRF and all. Okay, so very first institute, that is called as BSF Institute of Disaster Response. Okay, so this BSF Institute of Disaster Response, this is basically a training part that is giving training to NDRF people, you can say. So it's a separate unit of BSF. BSF सबको जैसे पता है कि Border Security Force. So in that they are having their special force that is working for the training, that is called as BSF Institute of Disaster Response, okay, which is called as BIDR, established in 2005. So this BSF Institute of Disaster Response that was established in 2005. It is a leading nodal agency for imparting training to NDRF and civil agencies. So जो भी persons है, those who are involved in NDRF, actually those who are working on field during disaster phase, that training is generally imparted by this particular institute. And it also acts as a think tank for disaster response training in BSF and coordinate all the disaster response activities with other organizations. So whatever NDRF people and BSF people who are trained to respond during phase of disaster, that are prepared by this basically BIDR. So this institute is a specialized institute for flood water rescue. So flood water rescue, and it also train the officers and persons who are inducted into NDRF battalion. तो जो भी NDRF का battalion होता है, उसके अंदर जो persons होते हैं, those who are trained people, they are generally trained by such that is the institute that is called as BIDR. So its the specialization is in flood water rescue. Okay, but they are giving other training also. So it gives training for medical first responder. Now this is a very important term that is called as MFR, medical first responder. So what is that? So basically they are training the people who are specially trained to provide out of hospital care in case of medical emergency. So this medical first responder, they are giving training to them. Then collapse structure search and rescue. अगर कोई collapse हो जाता है, कोई building collapse हो जाता है, so search and rescue operation that is generally done. Okay, so that special training is given for this collapse structure search and rescue to the persons. Okay, then also they are giving training for this NBC. NBC is basically nuclear, biological and chemical disaster. तो NBC अगर कहीं हो जाता है, न्यूक्लियर डिजास्टर होता है, बायोलॉजिकल डिजास्टर होता है, केमिकल डिजास्टर होता है, तो उसमें जो पीपल दोज हु आर वर्किंग और दोज हु आर रिस्पॉन्डिंग टू रेस्क्यू द पीपल, then that training is given by this BIDR. So you can say they are having a multidisciplinary in which they are giving training to the people, and ultimately they will become part of NDRF and other civil agencies who are working at the time of disaster. Okay, so it also gives the specialized training. So normal training देते हैं. Apart from that, they are also giving some specialized training like for flood water rescue, पानी में से कैसे लोगों को बाहर निकालना है, deep water diving, then motorized boat they are having, then rowing. So all that work that are essential during flood, that specialized trainings are given to them, and also they are giving specialized training for the disaster preparedness. Disaster से पहले जो preparedness करनी चाहिए, regarding that all those trainings are given. So as far as its vision is concerned, its vision is to develop the BSF Institute of Disaster Response as a national level institute for disaster response in the field of medical first responder. This is the first aim, that whatever personals they will work as a effective medical first responder. कहीं पे भी कुछ medical emergency आता, they can act proactively. Next is collapse structure search and rescue, that is NBR and NBC, that is nuclear, biological and chemical emergencies. Okay, so for both, that is NBC and CSSR, both the emergency, those people who are working and saving the life of the persons, So they are giving proper training. So that is the reason. Then flood water and cyclone disaster management. So they are also specialized. So their special training is for flood water as well as for cyclone disaster management also. And the mission, its mission is to act as a nodal agency and think tank for disaster response training in BSF. So BSF का ये जो training institute है, those who are giving training to all the people to how to tackle the situation at the time of disaster, that is generally given by this BSF unit, and to organize the training for emergencies and flood water rescue. So this is the specialization उनका flood water rescue में है for the teams of NDRF battalions and also BSF. So they also coordinate all the disaster response activities. So this is the mission and vision of this BIDR. So in short, you can say that all the persons who are involved during a phase of disaster, that is the response phase of disaster, those are given proper training in this BSF Institute of Disaster Response in all the sector of flood water rescue to cyclone disaster management to college structures search and rescue, NBC, that is nuclear, biological and chemical emergency, and make them as a effective medical first responder. That is the role of this BIDR. Now, next important institute, and everybody is knowing this institute because one or other way we have seen them, NDRF people. Whenever certain disaster takes place in India, anywhere, NDRF people you may find. Okay, so always they are involved in saving life of people. That is called National Disaster Response Force. Why the name is given like response force? Because they are actively working during response phase, that is during disaster चल रहा है तभी लोगों की लाइफ बचाना. That is the main responsibility of this NDRF people. Okay, so this is working under Ministry of Home Affairs, Government of India. So this is the website of this NDRF that anyone can refer if they want to know in detail about this NDRF. Okay, so basically this NDRF, it was established under Disaster Management Act of 2005. So this DM Act 2005, it has statutory provisions for, उसमें ऐसा लिखा हुआ है कि भाई हमारे पास ऐसा कुछ होना चाहिए constitution of National Disaster Response Force for purpose of specialized response to natural and man-made disaster. We should have certain specialized, trained mechanism to respond at the time of natural as well as man-made disaster. So under DM Act, as it has the provision that we should have certain constitution of such response force. Accordingly, in 2006, so after 2005 Act, under that provision, it was established in 2006. And initially it was made up of 8 battalions. But at present, this NDRF, it is having strength of 12 battalions, okay? And in each battalion, it is consisting of around 1,149 personals. So अगर आपके पास एक battalion है तो उसके अंदर around 1,150 personals जितने होते हैं, they are all trained people, those who are having all the knowledge how to respond during a particular disaster. So in short, you can say NDRF is nothing but it is a specialized force constituted for the purpose of specialist response to a threatening disaster situation or disaster. So generally during phase, that is the response phase, there is active role of this NDRF. It established under DM Act in 2005, working under MHA, that is Ministry of Home Affairs, Government of India. Okay. And the head of NDRF, it is designated as Director General. So Director General is the highest authority of NDRF. Under his guidance, under NDMA and MHA, all the instructions, whatever are given accordingly, deputation, etc., is and deployment of these NDRF battalions are done depending upon the situation in a particular area. So basically, the practice of proactive availability of this force for the state and that pre-positioning, पहले ही वो लोग अपनी position ले लेते हैं in the time of threatening disaster situation, have immensely helped to minimize the damage and which is caused by the natural and man-made disasters in country. Whatever saving of life and whatever damage उसको काफ़ी हद तक हम कम करने के लिए आज मतलब पॉसिबल हुआ है ड्यू टू दिस एनडीआरएफ पीपल. सो जब से ये बना है, इट हैज़ कंटिन्यूड टू विन द हार्ट्स ऑफ मिलियंस ऑफ पीपल. कोई भी लोग होंगे, अगर दे आर लिविंग इन सम डिजास्टर प्रोन रीजन, दे ऑल आर नोइंग व्हाट इज एनडीआरएफ. Okay, because you can find wherever is a disaster, NDRF is there. Okay, so they have won the heart of millions of countrymen by demonstrating their expertise and compassion will while handling the disaster situation. So they are effectively handling the disastrous situation in response phase. So this type of picture that are very common in flood affected area, NDRF people are always there to rescue them. Okay, and with all their whatever capacity, they are saving the life of people, and they try to minimize the casualties in a particular area. Okay, so they are having a very important role in disaster management. So if organization wise, if you just talk about this NDRF, at present NDRF consists of 12 battalions, as I've told you, and each battalion is having 1149 personnel on deputation. So ये जो होता है लोग वो डेपुटेशन पे आते हैं, and they are all trained people from the paramilitary forces. तो different forces जो होते हैं उसमें से लोग डेप्यूट किए जाते हैं एनडीआरएफ में. So basically these forces that consist of 3 BSF, तीन आपका जो यूनिट है दैट कम्स फ्रॉम बीएसएफ, 3 फ्रॉम सीआरपीएफ दैट इज सेंट्रल रिजर्व पुलिस फोर्स, एंड 2 फ्रॉम सीआईएसएफ that is Central Industrial Security Force, 2 from ITBP that is Indo-Tibetan Border Police, and 2 from Sahastra Sena Bal. So you can say that it is the combination of many paramilitary forces of India, and they are all trained and specialized persons. They are deputed in NDRF. Okay, and each battalion they are capable of providing 18 self-contained specialist search and rescue team. 18 सेल्फ कंटेन, मतलब सब कुछ है उनके पास, वेल इक्विप्ड विथ 45 पर्सनल्स ईच. दे आर इंक्लूडिंग, इसमें सब कुछ आ जाता है, इंजीनियर्स है, टेक्नीशियंस है, इलेक्ट्रिशियंस है, डॉग स्क्वाड्स हैं, मेडिकल पैरामेडिकल स्टाफ. सो ऑल इट्स अ टाइप ऑफ इंटीग्रेशन ऑफ ऑल द पीपल in one particular battalion, and they can tackle any situation of either man-made or you can say natural. So these all 12 battalions, they have been equipped and trained to respond at the time of natural as well as man-made disaster. So there is a major role of this NDRF people and person who are involved in that. So these battalions are also trained and equipped for respond during chemical, biological, radiological and nuclear, that is called as CBRN. So the CBRN, so they are also trained to tackle these situations also. And during the preparedness period, जो before disaster होता है, in a threatening disaster situation, proactive deployment means उनको कहाँ भेजना है of this force is carried out by NDMA. So NDMA will decide based on the consultation with state authorities. कोई state में अगर कोई बड़ा disaster हो रहा है, so according to in consultation with this state authorities, NDMA will deploy them according to the situation. So before disaster, before taking place of the disaster, as in the preparedness phase itself, this proactive approach of their deployment of these forces that is carried out by NDMA and in consultation with state authorities, and once they are deployed they are working efficiently. So this NDRF has proved their efficacy and its commendable performance during various disasters. So सब disasters में उन्होंने काम किया हुआ है, each and every disasters that India is facing. Drowning cases, building collapse, landslide, devastating floods, cyclones. So you can see all the major disaster that they are taken care by this NDRF people. Okay, and today this NDRF is distinguished unique force across the country functioning under Ministry of Home Affairs, Government of India, with the overall command and control under the leadership of Director General of NDRF, and it has saved life of many people up till now. Okay, so these NDRF battalions, they are located at 12 different locations in country. 12 जगह पे 12 battalion है, 12 है तो 12 जगह पे लोकेटेड है, ठीक है। एंड इट इज बेस्ड ऑन कहाँ पे वो लोकेटेड रहेगा, इट ऑल डिपेंड्स अपॉन द वल्नरेबिलिटी प्रोफाइल। सो एज यू नो द वल्नरेबिलिटी प्रोफाइल ऑफ इंडिया, कहाँ पे ज्यादा वल्नरेबल है टू द पर्टिकुलर डिजास्टर, अकॉर्डिंगली दिस लोकेशंस आर आइडेंटिफाइड जस्ट टू रिड्यूस द रिस्पॉन्स टाइम। क्योंकि अगर आपका बटालियन का सेंटर अलग दूर है, लोकेटेड एट फार अवे डिस्टेंस, and so in disaster prone area it is nearby, and in where it is not that much disaster prone, the less numbers are located, okay. So just to reduce the response time of the deployment, their location is particularly provided as per the vulnerability profile of that particular region. So here these are the locations of this NDRF battalion with the area of responsibility, in which area they have to work out. So if you just see here, more numbers of NDRF battalions are deployed, located, and because this is the area which is widely prone to cyclone, flood, as well as here you can see earthquake also. And here in Gujarat and Rajasthan, here we are having one battalion, that is number 6. Here you can see this, okay. For Gujarat region, we are having this 6 number battalion, which is located at Baroda. So that will take care of Gujarat, Rajasthan, Daman Diu, Dadra and Nagar Haveli. So these two regions that are taken care by this number 6 battalion, okay. So this way they are located at different places depending upon the vulnerability profile. So here you can see एक एक दो राज्यों के बीच में एक एक बटालियन है, ठीक है. And where here there are more numbers that you can observe, okay. Just to reduce the response time, जल्दी से वो जल्दी पहुंच जाए particular area में, so accordingly they are located. So next is National Civil Defence College, Nagpur. So this is also very old institute, okay. So before this NDRF, these are also like training people, trained करते हैं, ये भी people को train करते हैं, okay. So this National Civil Defence College situated at Nagpur nowadays. Earlier it was having. So basically this National Civil Defence College, Nagpur, it is the first disaster management training institution of the country. So you can say it is the first disaster management training institution of the country because it was established on 29th April 1957 at Nagpur, and earlier it was called as Central Emergency Relief Training Institute, and its main purpose is to support the emergency relief organizations of the government of India. So jitni bhi emergency, earlier our approach was different. Our approach was to respond, okay, response karna, that was the approach. But nowadays our that paradigm shift has taken place, and now our approach is proactive. That is, our major focus is on preparedness and prevention and mitigation. But though we need all these institutes that can effectively handle the response phase as well, okay. So earlier its role was to support the emergency relief organizations of the government of India. So it organized the advanced and specialist training for the leaders of the disaster relief and response. So here also it's, you can say it's like of a training organization, so training institute, okay. And they are having both the training that are given to manage man-made as well as natural disaster, okay. And this CERTI that was renamed as National Civil Defence College on 1st April 1968. So you can say that this is the first institute that was basically working for disaster management earlier, okay, and that is responsible for giving training. So basically in 1978 there was a devastating Andhra Pradesh cyclone that has taken place, and after that the responsibility of training the disaster responses and relief officers was given to this NCDC. So 1978 के बाद इनको ट्रेनिंग देने के लिए उनको रिकॉग्नाइज किया गया, ठीक है. एंड सो दे आर वेरी इफेक्टिवली गिविंग द ट्रेनिंग टू द ट्रेनर्स. जो ट्रेनर्स होते हैं उनको ट्रेनिंग देते हैं. So they are giving the trainings to the trainers in the field of search and rescue, then first aid, communications and welfare services. So there are many such type of trainings to the trainers that are organized, and they are identified as a premier training establishment in chemical disaster. So they are having very much expertise in this chemical disaster अगर कहीं होता है industries में, so they are specialized for that, and they are designated as premier training establishment in chemical disaster by MOEF, Ministry of Environment and Forest and Climate Change. Okay, and also they are recognized as nodal training institute for nuclear, biological, and chemical emergencies, and that is by Ministry of Home Affairs in 2002. So you can say that they are having more specialization on the industrial accidents, you can say. Okay, and this institute is regularly involved in training the trainers, training to the trainers from the all the this central police forces like ITBP, CRPF, BSF, CISF, इनको ये सब भी training देते हैं. Okay, and basically in order to provide the personnel which are required to form the NDRM. So they are also actively involved in this major area of their expertise, that is industrial disaster, you can say, because NBC, that is nuclear, biological, and chemical disasters, maybe particularly for chemical disaster they are having all expertise how to tackle that. And also they are giving training for developing skills to deal with the terrorist attack. Okay, so that may also comprises of weapons of mass destruction, so that terrorist को कैसे handle करना है, that training is also given. So since it has established in 1957, it has this college has trained more than 50,000 trainers, which includes foreign nationals also. So you can say that so many trainers that are trained by this particular institute. So there are varieties of programs, training programs that are conducted by this NCDC. So there is a civil defense training for trainers. So all hazard approach that is done for various states. And training of trainers in radiological emergency. Radiological emergency अगर हो जाता है तो कैसे उसको tackle करना है. Also there are many such courses and training to trainers to biological emergencies that are taking place. So that are all giving training to civil defense and disaster management courses there, industrial disaster management course, incident management command course, so disaster management course, so emergency operation center management course, civil defense planning course for nuclear emergency. So there are so many courses and some specialized skill courses for the chemical disaster, first responder, flood, cyclone disaster response, earthquake, biological, medical operation, emergency response, advanced search and rescue course, how to handle this amateur radio communication, then collapse structure rescue and search and rescue. So there are all the field in which they are giving training, but their specialization is more regarding disaster of industrial disaster. Next is National Fire Service College, Nagpur. So again, this is also very old institute, but here, as the name suggests, their more specialization is on fire, okay, fire side. Okay. So basically, this National Fire Service College, NFSC, that was earlier established in 1956 in Rampur, UP. And that was functioning under Ministry of Home Affairs, Government of India. But later it was shifted to Nagpur, considering some geographical advantage and climatic advantage of the city. So this college building, basically it's a kind of institute, a college kind of institute, which is specialization is in fire training center. Okay, and that has sufficient space for conducting all the fire drills and demonstrations. So there are many courses that are offered by this National Fire Service College: sub officer course, station officer course, instructor course, divisional officers course, breathing apparatus course. Breathing apparatus जब बहुत ही ज़्यादा polluted environment है वहाँ पे जाना है, so breathing apparatus course, then fire prevention course. Okay, so also they are providing BE in fire. Okay, so that BE, that is a Bachelor of Engineering in Fire training programs are also conducted. Okay, and that advanced level training in fire engineering and fire service management for the officers, then in which they are all providing elementary knowledge of protection from fire and another other natural disaster, then how to operate firefighting equipments, fire protection for fire stations. So you can say that fire related they are having all this training. And activities में देखें तो they are having their own residential college, okay, and at a time they can accommodate around 200 trainees, okay, and they are all providing this certificate, diploma, advanced diploma, etc., and that is all recognized by central and state universities and government and public sector also. So apart from this diploma and advanced diploma of National Fire Service College, they are also recognized by UPSC. Okay, and in 1978 they have started course of BE Fire, and that BE Fire, that is of 3.5 years duration, and that includes the 6 months practical training also. Okay, so here by being this fire, BE Fire, after doing this BE Fire, they can be accommodated every anywhere in India as far as the fire services are desired. Okay, and it is affiliated with Nagpur University. And it is the track record is that 100% placement, almost 100% placement is done, and all these young engineers, they are generally picked up by reputed industries and major public sectors. So this is all that is having specialization how to tackle this fire emergency. Okay, so fire brigade and all the industries, they are having such department which are looking after how to tackle fire whenever some fire erupts in particular industries. So there is a huge demand of this kind of trained person, and they are providing such trained person in this field of fire. Now the last institution, that is called as Ministry of Education. Nowadays it is called as Ministry of Education. Earlier it was called Ministry of Human Resource Development, MHRD. Earlier it was MHRD, but nowadays it is renamed as Ministry of Education. So they are also very important institution as far as disaster management is concerned. How? Because this NDMA took the initiative along with MHRD. MHRD के साथ मिलके NDM मैंने इनिशिएटिव लिया to ensure the disaster management in curriculum of the course of undergraduate science and humanities, as well as in the course of engineering, medical and architecture. Besides school education, normally in school education they have already involved, okay, at least the school children, they should know what is disaster, which are the different types of disaster, इंडिया में क्या क्या हो सकता है, आप अगर कोई पर्टिकुलर एरिया में रह रहे हो, कौन से डिजास्टर्स है, इसमें क्या करना चाहिए, डूज एंड डोंट्स. So such kind of preliminary knowledge should be given to school children. So besides school children, this NDMA, it has taken initiative along with MHRD, because earlier it was MHRD, the disaster management should be included in the curriculum for the science and humanities, as well as for the engineering, medical, architecture also. So there are certain objectives of that DM course that was established. So first objective was to bring to give the awareness amongst the student about the various disasters which India prone to. So at least you should have idea कि कौन से एरिया में क्या हो सकता है. So that vulnerability profile and hazard maps if you are having, then you will be able to know about the vulnerabilities. Okay, so that was the first aim, just to bring the awareness amongst all the students about which kind of disasters to India is prone to. So कौन सा एरिया कौन सा डिजास्टर से अफेक्ट हो सकता है, and in which area you are living, at least you should be aware of that. Okay, about the disaster profile of your particular area and in general for India. Then understanding the key concept of disaster management. So next objective was कि भाई उनको disaster management का सब थोड़ा आना चाहिए, basic. Okay, so what is disaster, what are the responsible factor, how disaster takes place, what is hazard, what are the different types of hazard, what is disaster management cycle. So this key concept of disaster management should be understood by this particular students, and they should also understand the media discussion and analysis during media reporting. If a media is reporting for certain disasters, some technical terms are coming, then at least you should be able to understand and analyze the situation, how it is going on. That was the particular objective. Then simple do's and don'ts for the school children. So generally in school, generally these children, they are having the list of these do's and don'ts that is supplied by this disaster management जो भी handbook है. and just to train the particular school children. Okay, and if they are knowing, then they can transfer the same to their families. Okay, so that that way the knowledge dissemination may takes place through students to their families. And next was to develop the interest in the students so that they seek more information about the disaster and its management. So the next was कि अगर आप लोग कुछ थोड़ा बहुत पढ़ेंगे, so if you get some interest, then if you get some development of the interest, then you will seek more information. So whatever मैंने जैसे इतनी सारी तो आपको वेबसाइट बताई कि ये NDMA, NIDM, then BSF, and there's ISRO is there, IMD is there, so many institutes that are working for disaster management. Okay, so all they will try to seek more information about disaster and its management. Also training program in the school, that were the objectives. Okay, so this MHA, Ministry of Home Affairs with UNDP, CBSC, they have successfully conducted master trainers program across the country. Okay, and in that the demonstration on first aid, search and rescue, evacuation by the health department and fire service was taken up. So you can say that's MHRD or the Ministry of Education. They are also trying to inculcate the basics of disaster management right from the school children to college going students. Okay, so at least they should be aware, they should have knowledge, and they should at least try to analyze the situation and in which area they are living. Okay, and that they can take the advantage of whatever knowledge that they are having at the time of emergency or any disaster. Also, this activity book on disaster management for the school children, that was designed by NIDM. So this activity book for the disaster management for the school children, that was specially designed to give some information regarding this disasters and what to do, and which kind of small practical things that can be included. That was designed by NIDM. And once this book was supplied, that become very helpful resource for the teachers as well as for the students as far as the disaster management is concerned. Also, this feedback questionnaire, it was also sent to schools, and just to review and update the existing literature. So whatever suggestions, whatever some additions that are suggested by the schools or some people, those who are having knowledge regarding the particular field of disaster management, they can also give some suggestions just to improve whatever resource that is included in such activity. So this kind of initiatives that are taken by Ministry of uh, that is MHRD. Earlier it was called MHRD, now it is called as the Ministry of Education, just to bring the awareness and knowledge dissemination right from school to college level. Now, all the science and technological institutes related to disaster management that we have discussed. Similarly, these science and technological institutes that are also working for early warning in India, because this is also very important part. Okay, to warn the people in advance. Okay, so that institutes are also equally important as all institutes that are responsible for giving training, those who are working for the implementation, those who are working for the policy formation, plan making. But this early warning is also equally important as far as the saving of life of the people is concerned. So in Government of India, they have designated the following offices as the nodal agencies for early warning of different natural hazards. So already we have discussed this thing, okay, which are the different agencies and which are the different institutes which are responsible for giving early warning in India. So again, we will talk in detail about what is the role of all these institutes, how they are responsible. Okay, but at least you should know the which disaster, which agency is responsible. So for cyclone, we are having IMD. For tsunami early warning, we are having this Indian National Center for Oceanic Information Services, INCOIS, that is the short form. IMD, that is the short form from Indian Meteorological Department. Then for flood forecasting and flood early warning, we are having CWC, that is called Central Water Commission. For landslides, we are having Geological Survey of India. For avalanche, we are having Snow and Avalanche Study Establishment. It's the part of DRDO. Okay, and heat and cold waves, we are having again IMD. And IMD is also nodal agency for measuring all the earthquakes which are taking place in India. Okay, so these are the major agencies and institutes. They are playing very important role by providing early warning in India. So we should also know each institutes how they are helping in disaster management, and that we will discuss in next class. But at the same time, the central ministries for the coordination of response at national level. So for all the disaster, we are having different nodal ministries and department. They are available. Okay, so they will look after. So for biological, we are having Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. So nowadays it has the major role because the biological disaster, that is corona, that is going on. Then chemical and industry, we are having MOEFCC, that is for civil aviation, Ministry of Civil Aviation. For cyclone and tornado, Ministry of Earth Science. For tsunami, again same, MOES. Then for drought, cold wave, etc., Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. For earthquake, again Ministry of Earth Sciences. So these are the ministries that are involved. Then for flood, we are having Ministry of Water Resource. So for each disaster, we are having their particular institutes that are responsible for giving early warning. At the same time, for the coordination, similarly, central ministries are assigned their own role. Then for forest fire, that is again MOEFCC. That for landslide, that is Ministry of Mines. For avalanche, we are having Ministry of Defense. For nuclear and radiological emergency, Department of Atomic Energy. For rail accident, definitely Ministry of Railways. For road accidents, we are having Ministry of Road Transport and Highway. For urban floods, we are having Ministry of Urban Development, MOUD. So these are all the institutes. They are playing their role whenever certain disaster takes place, and also they are working very effectively before, during, and after phase of disaster management cycle. So they are all having certain role in any one component of disaster management cycle, and we must know all these things because we are learning the subject of disaster management. So all the institutes that are working for early warning, that we will discuss in next class. So with this, I would like to end my presentation. Thank you very much.